Okay, real talk. Making friends as an adult is hard. We went through all the reasons why in the last episode, but making friends is also awkward. And I know the title of this episode says without being awkward, but here's the thing. I think any sort of meeting of new people, starting to build a relationship, has awkwardness to it. The real secret of making friends as an adult is not to avoid awkward, it's learning to be okay with it. So before we get into the whole how-to of all this, I want to reframe the whole thing. The goal is not to eliminate awkward. The goal is to stop letting awkward have so much power over you. We, for some reason, have this idea in our heads that everyone just glides through meeting new people, making friends, building these beautiful social circles, and like we're the only ones standing in the corner going, oh, is this weird? Am I being weird right now? But I have been to enough networking events, enough mixers, enough first-time hangouts to tell you with full confidence, everybody feels this way. Every single person I talk to at an event pulls me aside at some point and goes, see, I'm just really awkward, or I feel really awkward at these things. And they say it as if they're the only one. And what I tell them and what I'll tell you is, yeah, you probably are a little awkward, but we all are. It is awkward to meet new people, trying to start up conversations, trying to get to know other people. It might not be awkward the whole time, but it's gonna have its awkward moments, and that's okay. That's just what meeting new people feels like. But I've noticed there's two types of people when an awkward moment happens. There are those who the awkwardness happens and they go, oh, whoops, that was awkward. Oh, whoops, I mispronounced the person's name or forgot their name, or oh, we tripped. And they just keep moving. And then there are the people who spiral, who replay it, who go, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I can't believe I mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. And they let it ruin the whole evening. And they go home and lie awake at night at 2 a.m. thinking about that thing they did. The difference between those two people is not that one is more naturally charming or more confident. The difference is that one of them decided awkward doesn't get to run the show. So that's where we're starting today. Awkward is part of the deal. A first date is awkward. The first time you try to hang out with someone new, it's going to have its awkward moments. That's not a sign that something's wrong or that you did it wrong. That's just what the beginning of a relationship looks like. Okay, so now that we've settled that, let's actually talk about how to make friends as an adult. So I want to split this advice into two groups because I think there are two different starting points people come in at. Group one is you already know people, but you just don't see them as friends yet. So you have coworkers, or you have neighbors, or the mom you always see at school pickup, the person who takes the same bar class as you every Tuesday and you always, work out next to each other. You're not starting from zero. Those people just haven't turned into actual friends yet. And then group two, you are truly starting from scratch. You've moved to a new city, or you just went through a big life transition and your social circle evaporated. You don't have a warm list to pull from. You are genuinely starting from zero. The advice is going to overlap eventually, but I want to start from where you are. So first, for the people who already know people, this one is going to sound simple, but I promise you it's where most people get stuck. The biggest blocker to starting any friendship is waiting for someone else to go first. That's it. That's the whole problem. We wait. We think if they wanted to hang out, they would have asked. Or I don't want to seem too eager. Or what if they say no? What if they say no? And meanwhile, the other person is thinking the exact same thing. And so nothing happens and months go by and you both keep seeing each other at the same places and maybe even saying something like, oh, we should get together sometime. Oh yeah. And then never doing it. So here's what I want you to do. Think about the people you already know, coworkers, people from your gym, someone from your neighborhood. Is there anyone in that group of people you're thinking of where you've thought before, they seem nice? Just one person, maybe two. Now go initiate an invite. Ask them to coffee or ask them for lunch, but here's a little trick that seems to work really well, especially if one-on-one feels a lot of pressure of carrying the conversation. Instead of inviting one person, invite a couple of people. So if you found like 4 people over those groups that you think you'd like to meet, invite them all to the same coffee or the same lunch. Put them on an invitation together. very casual. Hey, I'm putting together a little lunch. I'd love for you to be there. And you do that with a group of people, and let's say 3 of the 5 show up. Great. So sometimes having a group makes it easier for the other person to say yes, and it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable that it's not going to be like a friendship first date. But either way, whichever one feels more comfortable to you, invite first. Now, the invitation is step 1. Here's where most people drop the ball. They have a great time at that lunch. You both say, oh yeah, we should do this again. And then no one ever follows up. Friendship, really any relationship, is built on time spent together. Literally, it's a marker of a relationship is you have to have spent time together. So meeting once every 3 months and having a lunch isn't really going to do it. So when you have a good time with someone, before you leave, say out loud, hey, this was really fun. Would you want to get lunch again maybe next month? Should we find a date now since life can get so busy? And pull out your phone, get out your calendar, and set the next date. The place could be TBD, etc. But pick the date and time. Do it in the moment, because the moment you leave, life takes over. The text you were going to send gets pushed to tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and then you feel awkward sending it. In fact, sometimes it can be 6 weeks later and now you're like, oh, I can't reach out at all. Which brings me to something else, just a little side quest that we're going to address. Something I see a lot is, oh, it's been so long that I can't reach out now. People feel like too much time has passed. And so with every day that goes by, the more awkward it feels to reach out, and so they don't. Here's my take on that. It is never too late to hear from somebody. I would rather you reply to my text 6 months later and say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. This got away from me, and then I was just embarrassed at how long it was, but I wanted to let you know I do care about you, or I would love to go get lunch again, and let's set something up, like something. It would be better to write back something than to leave them on red and never write back and ghost. People are just happy to be thought of. So if you have someone in your life right now that you've been meaning to reach out to or reply to their text message or their phone call and you haven't, just do it today. Rip off that Band-Aid. It's gonna be worth it. Fall on your sword a little. Say sorry for the delay, and then just ask how they're doing. That's it. Okay. So for our first group, the people who already know someone, one more idea for this group, and this is one of my favorite strategies. Create a standing rhythm that you just invite others to. This could be anything. I've done other episodes where I've talked about my monthly Friday lunch. For you, it could be a standing coffee at the same Starbucks every Saturday morning, and you just say, hey, I get there around 9, and anyone who wants to join, come in your sweats, it's casual, we can all just hang out and chit chat for a couple minutes before the day begins. Maybe every Thursday night your family has taco night, and anyone who wants to come can come along. They just need to let you know that morning so you know how much meat to make and can they bring a side. It can be pretty simple. The beauty of a standing thing, of a standing appointment, kind of an event is too strong a word, hangout, is that it gives you something to invite people to without having to constantly start from scratch on the scheduling and coordination. You're not texting someone saying, hey, you want to hang out sometime? And then spending 3 weeks going back and forth on what could work, and no, that doesn't fit my schedule. Could you do this day? No, I can't do that day. I can do this day. It's a lot. Instead, you can just go, hey, every Thursday I go to this coffee shop and just read for a while, but if people come and want to hang out, I love to just sit and chat. So if you want to come and join, I would love for you to come. That's it. And then eventually they show up. And it also gives you a reason to keep inviting people without it feeling like a big ask. It's low stakes. It's casual. And over time, it becomes the thing that actually holds your friendship together. Okay, so if you already know people, those are your starting steps. Now, for my group of people who are truly starting from scratch. Okay, and so my starting from scratch people, you are in a new city, or you're in a new chapter, there is no warm list to pull from, or maybe like me, when I moved here to Arizona, I had 2 people I could call, but 2 people were not filling my social calendar. I had to do some other things. So your first step is going to sound like the most obvious thing in the world, but get out of your house. I know this is groundbreaking, but a lot of us work from home now. We can go entire days and entire weeks without really being around other people. And if you missed last week's episode, we talked more about this. It also is just comfortable to be home now. It feels safe. It feels easy. But you cannot make friends from your couch. You just can't. So get out of your house. Work from a coffee shop. Work from a hotel lobby or the library. Find places where other humans are around. even if you're not actively trying to talk to all of them, those small, low stakes interactions, talking to the barista, saying excuse me to someone as you bump into them as you're both throwing away your coffee cups, those are what I call micro conversations. Those are more important than we think. Those tiny little threads of connection, the barista who knows your order, the person you always see at the gym, the neighbor you wave to, those things add up. They take us out of isolation and they also warm us up for the bigger connections we're trying to build. So start there. Get out of the house. Put yourself in proximity to people. Just bumping into people is going to make you feel better, and you actually need those social connections as part of your overall social health. And then the next step with that would be find something regular to be an attendee at. So this is your sort of standing appointment assignment. Do you go to the gym at the same time? Do you start going to church or signing up for a Bible study? Do you take a specific workout class? Go to the same one each week. A book club, a volunteer group, an association in your industry, the regional meeting that happens once a month. Find things like that you can go to. Something that happens on a schedule where you can see the same people repeatedly. This is somewhat the soft socializing that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of times those are one-off things. We're talking about something that is an activity like soft socializing, but happens regularly. A weekly schedule is best, but even if it's something once a month, let's say an association meeting, it's going to take a little bit longer to ramp up into getting to know people, but at least you are seeing someone on a regular basis, that they get familiar with you. You already know you have something in common, the point of that association, and that can then lead to getting to ask the next step. And you can guess what that next step is. Initiate. Invite them to something. So after the class, after the Bible study, after the association or board meeting, you say, hey, I was gonna go get lunch. Do you wanna join me? Or, hey, I'm thinking about getting coffee at blah, blah, blah coffee shop tomorrow, trying it out. Would you wanna try it out with me? It's that simple, but you have to initiate. That is the bridge. That's the moment that takes the group activity and turns it into actual friendship. And most people never take that step. They keep showing up to the same class, maybe doing the same, oh, hi, to people near them, and that's it. And then wondering why they still feel lonely. That class is not going to solve loneliness for you. You have to take the next step. Now, one thing I do want to say here for everyone, because I think it's something that it's getting talked about some online, but not enough, is be open to people who don't completely fit your life. A lot of advice around making friends as an adult is around find people in your life stage or find people in the things that you're already doing, right? I just told you to create a schedule, go to a workout class, go to a Bible study, etc. It is good. It's not bad advice. They'll say things like, find the people where you're already at. If your kid's at baseball practice, what other moms are sitting there at baseball practice? Start up a conversation with them. That's true. Proximity is a very easy way to start making friends. Hence why I wanted you to do something in proximity of others, right? I'm not going to pretend that's not true. It's very true. But some of us don't have easy access to other people in our life stage. So for example, I'm single. I don't always end up in the same places as others my age. I don't have a kid in baseball practice. I've had to make real effort to find people around my age, like even switching the Bible study I go to from the evening one to the daytime one, because I went, oh, I bet a lot of the stay-at-home moms my age go to that one. Now, it turns out it was only one woman, but we became friends. So I had to show up at different events to try and make that happen. And similar, but different, on the flip side, if you are the mom at the baseball practice and you have that one friend from work who's single and you can tell she wants friends, invite her to come join you at the baseball practice, even though she wouldn't normally be there. So while I do want you to find people in proximity, also notice that some of those one-off connections, see if you can find ways to incorporate them into your life, even if they don't fit the things you're regularly doing every week. Okay, and then so for those of you who were starting from scratch, those are your starting steps, because once you hit that initiate and invite, you roll into the steps for the person who did know some people, because now you know some people and you're going to do those same steps, so you can go back up, circle back up to the top. So really, if you're in group 1 or group 2, here's what it all comes down to. Friendship requires initiation, and it requires an invitation and then follow through. And it requires you to be a little uncomfortable in the process. Nobody is going to knock on your door and hand you a best friend. That's not how this works. As much as we wish it was, that's not how it works. You have to be willing to be the one who reaches out. You have to be willing to be the one who follows up. And yes, sometimes you're going to reach out and it's going to be a little awkward. Sometimes the timing is going to be off. Sometimes someone's not going to respond the way you hoped. That's part of it. That's the cost of admission. But the alternative, though waiting for somebody to go first, staying comfortable, staying at home, that's lonelier. And I think most of us already know that, but we just need to hear it sometimes. Because the people who have the rich, full social lives as adults, it didn't come easy. They're the ones who decided it was worth the effort. They're the people who embraced awkward and kept going anyway. And you can be one of those people starting today. Remember, awkward is not the enemy. Waiting is. The awkward moment passes. The friendship you never reached out to start because you were afraid of the awkward moment, that won't come back. So be a little awkward. Reach out, initiate, follow up, and show up. And if this resonated with you today, let me know if you were brave this week and take a first step and invite someone to a coffee, to lunch, or if you put a group together. Put it in the comments. I would love to hear about it. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like it and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.